Anyway, just as a quick warm-up, maybe can I get you to just raise your right hand as high as you can, please? Fantastic. Okay, so wave high. Okay, superb. Okay, now that you're warmed up, I'm going to ask you to participate a bit. Hands down. Who here has been playing with AI? Okay, let's see. Fantastic. This is a superb thing to see. Now, beyond playing, who has been using AI actually? To write your proposals and grants. Okay, so I'm going to cover mostly about image generation AI today and the experiences in learning from this. ChatGPT and text-based would have the same principles, all right? So I want to say one thing. I'm first and foremost not at all an AI expert, so I have no idea why I'm really giving this talk. I'm a design educator also, colleague of Hans and Clement. But I think that we as educators really have to try to go to new spaces early, especially if they are fundamentally going to change how our students or our kids may eventually work. So this is our emergent discoveries from trying to teach this at NUS and also from trying to use this new thing called AI, in our own work and practice at Stuck Design. So I'm going to invite you, to challenge and question the conclusions that I've arrived at. And this field is changing so fast, I think I might have to swallow everything that I say, next month. Okay, so first reaction, from what you've used in AI, do you think that the output is generally good or bad? Now, bad, raise your hand. Hans has raised his hand. Chow has raised his hand. Yeah. How about good? Okay, a lot of people saying it's really good. Now, would you say that it levels the playing field for a lot of people? I'll share some examples later about how we've experienced this. And do you think that students should use or shouldn't use AI in their school? Should? Okay, I see a lot of heads nodding. Perfect. I'm going to ask you to try something. Since Hans has started off with this Me Too Soft, I haven't tried this before, and I'm so excited to try Aditya's really ambitious app. Right? So I'm going to start a rojak session to have you draw what you imagined early on as a Me Too Soft. So I'm going to give you the link over here. Okay, great. Tech didn't bomb on me now. So this is the same QR code. Oh, refresh it? Okay. Did I just press refresh? Okay, great. Thanks. Tech support is always appreciated. Let me try again. It doesn't want to recognize my face. Okay, let's go in. I don't know if you've got into that one. Is this the right one? Okay, so let me just open the QR code again. Hey, everyone's in there anyway. Okay, so, perfect. Okay, remember the first drawing is of you, not of the Me Too Soft. Okay, so the first drawing is of you. Then after that, I'm going to roughly, I think, once we have a few people, I'm going to start a session anyway because I don't need that many sketches from you. Okay, so I'm going to start. Draw the Me Too Soft that you had imagined earlier on with Hans's exercise, if you were here. If you were not here, then draw anything. Okay? Okay, I'm going to see what comes in. This was the Me Too Soft that you were imagining sitting beside you just now. Well, obviously we saw some traces of the elephant creeping into the Me Too Soft because Hans has planted that thought in your head before you drew the Me Too Soft or imagined the Me Too Soft. Okay, I'm just going to pick some fun ones here, yeah? I don't know how to scroll this, so I guess I'm just going to... Aditya, is there a way to scroll this? Oh, yeah, okay, it's coming. Ah, this is cute. Okay, let's do that. Okay, somebody's Me Too Soft is really, really soft and cuddly. Okay? Yeah. You too soft. Okay, let's find something else that's maybe a bit. This is interesting. I'm just gonna open this because it's just so iconic, right? Okay, disclaimer: I have not done this before. I've never tried this in AI, but let's see what it gives us. All right, let's take some race here. I'm going to do that. Okay, where are the images? Select, copy, paste. Please paste the right one. Okay, let's try that first. Okay, I hope this is fun for everyone. What I'm going to do soon is to show you putting this doodle of some of us here into AI. You will see that over here in my interface, I'm not inputting any prompts at all. I'm just going to choose character design and I'm just going to go. Okay? Let's see what it gives us from this sketch. And I'm going to try to put the other guy in there. Let's see if we can make some of your Me Too softs come to life. Copy photo. Paste over this. Okay. Let's generate that. Okay. I mean, it's coming in already. Let's not spoil the surprise. I'm going to leave it cooking in the background. All right. Normally, I would draw some fun shapes in this kind of setup in situation, and I would do that here. Maybe I'll just do a live, kind of a. I don't know what I'm drawing, but let's see what's coming up. And there's a more precise drawing behind. But to show you how this works in AI, I'm going to just use this new sketch that I do to do something like an architecture exterior, for example. Okay? Architecture exterior, I'm going to also try to make it into like a vehicle design. Not going to do much more than, choose the category of things. And I'll move on to show you what happens from a kind of loose sketch if you happen to use a more precise drawing. And if we were to say, all right, let's do physical product design. Let's have it go. Yeah, let's just let it go once. And here I'm going to emphasize one other approach. One of the things that Aditya introduced to us earlier on was drawing something and then exchanging it for someone else to modify it, right? So this is something really interesting you can do with AI. If you have no idea what you are actually kind of trying to create, but you say, I like something like that with, a little bit of thing here. I have no idea what this is actually. And say, for example, if I'm working on a product, right, or vehicle, I'm just going to choose, again, just product design, go on it. And then vehicle, let's see. Okay. And if you are more operating in the world of sculpture and you want some form inspiration, an open sketch like that could be really interesting for you. Some of you might be working in interfaces or interaction. So I've drawn here a sketch that is a little bit not typical to interfaces because you don't really have like a sketch or interface so much with like a diagonal line. So we are forcing AI to be a bit different from its usual standard answers. I'm going to select user interface design and just go. Okay. Now, while those things are cooking, I will show you some results that comes from half a sketch like that. This is what came up from that drawing. So if you are ever working in retail design and you wanted to say, hey, I wanted a diagonal element in the environment and I wanted my brand to feel a certain way, always pink, I could get something like that in 20 seconds. I can get the same sketch, give me something like that too. And from this thing, which is also a random scroll, get to something like that. Okay, these are all from the same sketch. So I'm going to maybe even show you if you happen to need to be in charge of designing a toilet for your school, which is a task that I've been asked to do, right? You can take a photo, and it becomes the options come back like that. Now most of it is nonsense, but meaning that there are gaps. But this is from the photo. Hans knows where this might be coming from. So I want to ask everyone: is AI a shortcut? Is AI a shortcut? Yes. Okay. Is it going to reduce workload? Ah, interesting. Somebody might have heard me speak before, right? So 5 days of work takes 5 minutes now. I mean, this is an exaggeration. In fact, maybe it's an under-exaggeration, right? But the question is, after 5 minutes, are you going to go home now? That's probably not the case, right? The reality is this. With AI, we'll start to do 500 days of work in 5 days. Okay, so AI is probably not going to reduce workload. The same they said of email, right? It didn't reduce workload. So AI has this, because it's so new, it has a lot of misconceptions about it. People are worried that it will take our jobs, it will help us laze around. Some of us are asking the questions, will it replace creativity? My own guesses is life might be a bit harder instead of easier because the challenge is higher, right? Because the baseline has been permanently lifted. Creativity now will need to figure out how to be more creative than the norm when everyone is using AI. So that's an interesting aspect about creativity. The more you try to replace it, the more it levels up. So you almost cannot kill it, right? Now, this change is not unlike any new tool that comes along, just that this is really, really, I think, pervasive. Like the digital photographer, who uses a digital camera, he has new possibilities, speed, and efficiency compared to the film photographer. But at the same time, the guy who stays with film may need to try to make new magic that the digital cannot. So both things, I believe, will still exist. But for most of us, I think we cannot ignore digital photography and remain with film. Likewise with AI, I think a lot of us have to prepare our students for this change. Now, these misconceptions is why I like to talk about AI and why I like to kind of go into it really early. Because a lot of students that we've encountered, even our own designers, they end up giving up or dismissing AI when they don't understand it properly. Well, frequently they think it's a tool for making fancy images that are fun and imaginative that cannot be used for work. Or sometimes they use it uncompetitively and develop a harmful reliance on it. So what's our right relationship with AI like? There are 4 main things that I want to share today in case you are teaching this with your students, okay? So firstly, you have to assume that whatever AI creates to you is bad. Even though you say it's good, it's bad just now, you have to assume it's bad. Why do I say this? Because with any form of experience and trained eye, you will see most of the time it is poor or incomplete, even though it looks fancy and polished. Okay, most of the time it looks poor, it is poor or incomplete. Now, sometimes you can actually prompt it until it gives you something that's actually good. Okay? Truthfully good, actually good. But even then, it's going to be uncompetitive because whatever you can prompt to get, your neighbor can prompt to get. Incidentally, in the course of teaching, I think about almost a year ago, AI for the first time in NUS, halfway through our course, we had a final year student who was not taking my course, started to sell prompts online. Okay? I don't know if he's here, right? If you're here, Lucas, good job, right? He was selling a prompt that would get people a very consistent result with characters, and that was $3.99. So many of us are worried, do we need to really learn how to prompt now, and is that the next advantage? I don't believe that to be the case, because if you can buy a prompt and get you results, then I don't think you really need to learn prompts anytime or for long. Maybe it's a short advantage for now. Now let's have a look at how bad AI really is, right, from all the things it's been creating back for us. So this, as we were talking, your Me to Solve is kind of coming, you have a bit of a funny deformity sometimes in the creature, but nonetheless, it's kind of interesting to see this come from this sketch, right? And I don't know why some of these are not loading, but I don't like these things. These are. I love this sketch, but I don't know why it's refusing to give me something. So AI is sometimes a little bit disobedient, yeah. But you see, AI is bad, right? Most of the time, why am I having this kind of outputs from this random sketch? Of course, there are moments where it's interesting and brilliant, like, for example, like that maybe. But, okay, anyway, at this juncture, if you want to use this yourself and try along, you can scan this QR code if you have an iPad, okay? It's free anyway, courtesy of Stark Design. Okay, I'll leave this on for just a few seconds in case you want to snap it. But let's move on. There's a flip side to AI's badness and disobedience. Its badness is usefully bad. Okay? So that's one of the first things that we need to take note of. Creativity, right, thrives on having a lot of people to bounce different thoughts with, bounce deviant, perspectives with. And AI is a little bit like having an army of people with no self-conscious filter to bounce a lot of things with. That's what we are doing a little bit just now with exchanging the sketch, isn't it? I'm not saying that you are no self-conscious filter, but yeah. Now, what I believe is that it could really promote an appetite for unusual ideas and confidence to entertain uncertain solutions. Because now students may be able to play with, an AI input and say that, like, all right, I've never really thought about this thing, but maybe, this moment in the sketch is really interesting. Like, for example, I wouldn't draw this in a car, but let me just save this to sketch for a while. Like normally, if I were to style the shape of a car, which was maybe what the intention was in the sketch, I would not draw like a detail like that or something like this as a part line. And that's very refreshing for a designer to experience, having somebody throw back to you the possibilities that you didn't think of. Okay, so yeah, now I've got to find out where I'm in the slides. Okay. So there's where it is. And now I'm going to show you a little bit of things that comes out even from AI, from this software. This is happening in one of my classes right now. My students are trying to take what is traditionally done physically to explore materials, to say, can we now use AI to collaborate with us, to perhaps inspire a new way to see plastic floss? Right? This is, for example, his obsession was with plastic floss. And so he used AI to generate what might be a possible vision before he built it. And he's going back and forth with this experimentation, much more than, if you ask me to build this, I'll take maybe 2 weeks to sit there to try to do something with it. But now I have a vision to attempt. And these are his genuine experiments. This is from AI. And he tries to use it to say, let me try to, do something for real, in real life, by ironing the floss together. And then he generates this in AI, and because of the image, he tries to do something physical. Now, then he arrived at this thing, which was a little bit cliche, but nonetheless, he said, AI is prompting me, right? So he's going to try that. And with this thing, he's discovered that if he further manipulated it physically, he's starting to arrive at a really interesting effect with polyfloss. And this is where, that whole back and forth collaborating with AI, it starts to get very exciting. It doesn't replace creativity, it amplifies creativity, if you're using it correctly, if you entertain AI's bad ideas, okay? So I believe that prompting AI is less important than AI prompting us in return. This is what I believe in. Now, because the best ideas, if you've operated in creativity long enough, often hide amongst the bad ideas. Einstein has said it this way first, if at first an idea is not absurd, then it has no hope. So second thing, am I out of time? Okay, second thing I'm going to do faster, okay? Our minds are trapped by the illusion of finality. This is another pitfall with AI. What I'm saying is this. We are not used to seeing this level of fidelity, whether in words, if you're using ChatGPT, or in images, so early on in an innovation or exploration process. Right? We keep thinking it's finished because what used to be like a doodle or like a draft skeleton that we type, now it's like a finished paragraph. What used to be a loose sketch is now a photographic render, right at the start of the process. And what I've observed is some students get trapped by that. My interesting experience teaching them, the question that they keep asking me is, hey, it's finished. Why is it not finished? Right? Throughout the semester, I kept getting such a question. Now, here's the takeaway that you may have to bring back. Right? Renders will become the new doodles. Written proofs will become your new drafts. Right? Now, this can either be a trap or an asset. If you use it well, it starts to accelerate the moment that an idea encounters reality. For example, like if you do design research and you are trying to describe to people a new space that you're building. Now, in the past, we use words to tell them, right? Or we kind of draw something, and they misinterpret our explanations and our visuals. Here we can quickly let them encounter what looks real. What? Okay. Hey, actually, just to know what's the timing that I have left. That's the duration. Oh, so I'm still okay lah. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I would say that try to get your students and yourself also used to seeing AI output as really an editable thing with less preciousness, because that's what it really is. Now, a few other key points is, an observation about mature designers versus those who haven't blossomed. The key thing that's different between them is they know how to make the choice, they know how to judge what is good and what's not good. So in my classes, I've realized that AI is not really a level the playing field type of thing. In fact, it severely amplifies the designers who are more mature, and it hinders those who are very weak, right? The point is this: those who have learned how to judge, now they have many options to judge from, and those who do not know how to judge, now they have, instead of judging from 3, they have to judge from 3,000, right? And they're like, they don't know how to move. So that's one of those things that we have to be careful of when we're trying to work with AI. The good thing is that AI allows us a certain distance, right? And the quantity it generates makes it less precious. And you can now operate a lot more objectively, almost like the client or the end user or the curator. So you should encourage your students to operate really as the judge, the curator, the director, or instigator of AI, and less as the creator inside it, because now we can take that objective distance and judge things even better. AI allows us to do that. Now, this is an example of work that's done by my students who are not spatial designers, they're not architects. They are trying to quickly test what happens if we were to design a HDB void deck, right? And is she trying to design the void deck? She really isn't. She is trying to, but she's generated these images in a matter of seconds because these things which are nonsensical and are impractical to build, she can use it to talk to someone and get a reaction. And that reaction is research. From this, being not a spatial designer or what, she can start to understand very quickly what do people really want, and then after that, maybe work with an architect to implement it. Okay? So this is where AI unlocks a certain multidisciplinarity for us, and if and it's really useful as a design probe. So I will conclude right with this point that AI can make you powerfully ignorant or ignorantly powerful, and this is what I just explained. By if you know that you're going to in the new space, right? You're not a vehicle designer, architect, but you can operate in that space. Collaborating with them, it is a really useful thing. But many students think that now they can design cars, right? So that's a problem. You end up being powerfully ignorant. Okay, so I'm going to just conclude with some interesting things. 2 days ago, my child just decided to ask me how to earn money, right? So I thought it would be interesting to give them School of Real Life by allowing him to set up a restaurant in the house and feed everybody for dinner. The condition was that if he did everything from start to end and packed up, we would pay him $12, right? So he cooked the whole dinner for everybody. But in that process, while he was doing it, I had a lot of free time. So I started to create a logo for his brand. He wanted his restaurant to be called Hand Super because his name is Hansel, right? So I'm not a graphic designer or logo designer. Okay, this is what happened. But we had the logo running in the background while he was cooking all these things. Guess how I did this logo? Right? Back to the same process. Just using that name, I've created a bunch of things that allow me to see, not as a graphic designer, what felt tasty. Which kind of response feels tasty? What would, this feels a little bit like a surfer logo, so I didn't really like it. And I came upon this thing, which just looks a little bit interesting. I brought it back into my software, or rather I brought it back into my sketches and tweaked it a little bit. And that's how the burger-like, brand came up in just 10 minutes. And my child had an experience with, a bit more of a real-world type of setup. Okay, so the same occurs for non-visual work. If you use ChatGPT, it's the same. We should get our learners to critically think about their relationship with AI for tomorrow. And again, we'd love to connect with you more if you want to use the app, which is free, right? Or connect with us more. This is the QR code. There's a bunch of links. Thank you very much.